failures that occur between now and that time, they can address that at the sub level, like the intermediate level, and then they'll put the surface on top, and you wouldn't be able to know any difference from an instantaneous look feel as well as the long term viability of the pavement. So there's no additional joints or
Mm-hmm,
anything that needs to
mm-hmm.
be taken care of. The only outstanding major item I would classify it is with the amount of rain that has been occurring, there is standing water in the bioretention swale, and so what's happened is the construction they constructed approximately a foot lower than what the final grade is going to be, so that they can put a soil mixture matrix in there that will grow the grass
Mm,
and plantings
mm,
that have been
mm,
called
mm.
out. Well, because of that, there's no way for that to drain out. And with the groundwater level being higher because of the rain events, being next to a river, as well as in a floodway, it's a known scenario that you would expect. What you can't expect is, or we don't know if it's going to rain 3 days or if it's going to rain 15 days in a row. So that's what we're currently working through. We had a call on Tuesday with them, with the contractor team, and just talking through various ideas. And the contractor team, when I state that, it means Avenue and their bioretention pond contractor, Scenic Services, and thinking through different ways to accomplish that. And really, it boils down to some of it's going to be their means and methods and their approach to it. Uh, s- uh, s- so next steps, Scenic, the gentleman who we're working with, he's reaching out to Spence Nursery. Sorry, that is not Spence Nursery on that particular one. The seed mixture is a different provider who I'm blanking on the name of it right now. I apologize. But he's going to reach out to them to find out what their recommendation is on the timing of when to do the plantings and how maybe to do some of those plantings to make sure that they thrive and they don't need to be, they won't die. Um, so we're still working through some of those pieces, but we anticipate with the drier days coming ahead and the temperatures, we're optimistic that it's not going to be any kind of issue. And we also have some ideas on um, keeping the cost low or none by using different means of getting the water out of there. So those are some of the things. And then, so on really, that's the biggest update from a construction standpoint. Really, any questions on it?
On the Western Park, the MOU with IDNR,
Mhm.
which is going to sort of let us fully run that piece. We're close on that. Do we have finals back from them?
Yes, we received that. Jeff worked with back and forth with IDNR, provided some really he pushed back pretty good, and ultimately on the maintenance side of it, and they have agreed to everything at this point. So, is it on your agenda for today to be able to review and approve that?
We can do that here within the construction, within these updates. Very good.
And but it has been through Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And some of the things with that MOU are the routine maintenance is going to be still like meaning the whatever IDNR does today is what they would do moving forward. Any of the improvements is where the county would take ownership of,
Sure.
and really even in the commitments, it's kind of loose in the sense of if priority on funding and other things that if like winter operations, if you want to salt and plow it, but you don't have the budget yet, maybe that's something that is just not possible at this time. So they meaning IDNR, they wanted to just make sure that um, what's being improved, they aren't going to have to take ownership of, and that access to whatever access is being provided today for the boat ramp
Mm-hmm.
that they have, that's maintained
Certainly. Yep.
to the same service level that was previously maintained.
Good.
There, I will throw this out as a potential, not like a must do or even an indication of one thing or another. if you chose to dial back any improvements on or change any improvements per se on the western part, the IDNR Perkinsville boat ramp, um, then from a budget standpoint, any of those dollars that you would pull from that project, it would be at your leisure to decide, would you put those towards the eastern park and doing other things? And that's ultimately up to you. Now, that doesn't preclude you from going ahead and signing it. That, you know, 2 weeks from now, conversations are had. You think about it, and you're like, wait a second, we want to talk through this piece of it.
So we would be agreeing to a maintenance plan of whatever we end up installing.
Yeah.
We're not tying ourselves to a specific design plan by signing this MOU. Is that
Yeah,
right?
and as part of the agreement, there will be the design plans included as it, but that doesn't mean it can't be amended.
Sure. Okay. Very good.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
Is that proper? Couple thing you mentioned. One is the bioretention pond
Mhm.
needing to add some soil of some type
Mhm.
to support whatever's planted in there. Not familiar with the specific planting arrangements. My assumption is this is a native species planting that is supposed to exist here anyway, and it deals with floodways and heavy rains and drought
Yeah,
and the whole bit.
you're
Okay.
100% accurate.
Okay.
It's
Stabilization,
The what now?
stabilization, root
Yeah,
stabilization.
yeah.
so it'll be it's a mixture of the different conditions that are exposed
Yeah.
to out there. So you're going to have some plants that are going to thrive during the wet season, and then you're going to have
Mhm.
some plants that are going to thrive during the extremely dry season.
As they would naturally.
Yes. And then you're going to have the natural occurrence of there's going to be even a turnover. So we'll have some temporary fast growing plants in there so that it can get it stabilized and growing today. So it's not just a dirt bottom. And then it's going to slowly grow into the natural species that ends up just being what's best for that condition and
you
environment.
don't have to do anything with it.
Then the goal with the intent of the species selection was low maintenance. Everything is low maintenance, right? Like you guys don't want to maintain something that you have to be out there on a weekly basis pulling weeds or weed eating it or whatever you want to say. So the intent and the species selection was to be low maintenance.
Next question I have is about the IDNR in the western portion of this. I've been down there under its state as it was put in by. There doesn't seem to be any maintenance issues down there. I mean, you got to go down there and mow it every now and then to keep some areas open. What if there's, and they're going to continue to do that? Is that what I'm
They
hearing?
will do the same level of maintenance that they are doing today.
Yeah.
And an example is less about the mowing. It's more about the growth of invasive plants and trees. Like whenever the tree clearing occurred on that site in April or right before April, that was IDNR, and they were okay with doing it at their own cost and their own resources because they knew that those trees were essentially invasive and they were not native species to the area. So they knew they needed to get out there. That type of thing they will still do. And it may be a situation too, is that they've got a number of parks that they are trying to maintain that it's the board will say, hey, can you guys make the request?
But it's still rather large size gravel parking area, right?
Well, I mean, our plan is to pave that,
Okay.
but it is currently a gravel parking
Yeah.
space there now. Yes.
Well, if nothing else, put down a smaller size stone and just roll it, I guess.
Well, I think that's
that
sort of
wa-
what you're alluding to.
Yeah.
Is
That
we
large-
still have
That
options
large
there,
stuff is
so.
just very difficult to
Yeah.
ride a bike over or walk on or get a canoe
Roll
back in there.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that
So
is what I'm
any
looking at.
improvements then, as we said, parking lot, then would be on us and not them.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. I understand.
And some of the items that Jeff had pushed back on was they had put in language that if they wanted to come in and they wanted to open cut the road because they saw there was an issue,
Yeah.
you name it, I don't know what it would be. They just want to open cut what you just installed, and then they were expecting that you would come in and you would repair their open cut.
Mhm.
And so Jeff pushed back on some of the language in there for that it would not be on the county to repair anything that they caused damage to.
Well, that invasive species stuff. My yard alone is a great example. Of
It
that.
isn't.
Eh,
It is a known issue.
People, winter creeper. Does anybody have winter creeper in their yard? God, it just takes over everywhere. Just climbs trees, and the honeysuckle bushes that are not native. And it's all our responsibility because we brought it here and put it in our backyards and thought it was pretty. So, okay, I'm with you.
Okay. A few other updates, just non-construction related, just project related,
Mhm.
is working through an entrance sign with Carrie Ann. I don't want to steal your thunder, but we're working through that with Avenue team to determine some concept plans or at least what expectations are. And part of that is part of the selection of the name.
Mhm.
And from a timing standpoint, we're still working to find out from their contractor vendor of what that schedule would look like so that she can report back to you. And she'll probably be able to give more information because she was leading it, but did want to make sure I update you on that from our perspective of the owner side. And then one of the topics that was last month was about the open book pricing and transparency. Made a request to Avenue late last week with a list of all the requirements that the county parks board is requesting. So far, as of late Monday night, they provided what I believe is everything. It was a decent amount of information and files, so I'm still compiling it. I have a draft form of it in a report that my intent is to share. I just want to make sure I'm not missing something because I don't want to share something and it not be 100% accurate, or there's a piece of it that it's perceived that maybe um, it was withheld. Um, and so I fully intend to have that. Let's just say after the 4th of July weekend to you,
Fair.
but I do have we'll say 100 plus documents, files that are 1 page to 50 pages long of information that I will share.
Yeah. Per our conversations earlier in the week as well, I saw some of those files. There's a lot of invoices. They're not withholding. It doesn't appear that they're withholding anything. We're all moving forward. Everything's been submitted that's been requested, and we're getting it into a format that we can actually digest. We don't want to be flipping through individual invoices from every
Yeah,
single
and
vendor.
what I myself and I had one of my team members do is we're taking and putting it into like not just a Word document but a spreadsheet to ensure that like it's all reconciled. And if there is a gap in the numbers, we can understand where that gap is or why is there a gap. And so I can report back to you that I'm still missing info or not.
Financial auditing here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Yes. Very good.
Any other questions?
We have just sort of per our discussions to make public information. Obviously, we've been discussing the maintenance plan, working through different amounts, that are likely different costs that we'll be incurring throughout the year in terms of, mowing, paving, or not paving, maybe touch up paving over time, but plowing the paving, trash pickup, these types of things that we obviously want to be paying attention to. So that dialogue is moving ahead. Feels like we've been making solid progress over the last month. Anybody on the board have any further questions for Jason? No? All right. Thank you. I have marketing, and actually, I'm sorry, just one moment. We need to
Yeah.
have a motion to add this agreement to our agenda,
Amend the agenda to include the right-of-way agreement.
and we'll just
Right of
put it
entry agreement.
at the very end of the agenda here. In a
Okay.
sense, but
Yes, I'll make a motion to amend the agenda.
Second.
all right. Thank you. All those in favor of adding this right of entry agreement to our agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, great. We'll get to that at the end. Carrie Ann?
Carrie Enrich, Honest Digital. So we are getting ready to kick off our summer outreach events next Friday, actually at the Lapel Village Fair. Um, so with that, we are going to be hosting an Enter to Win contest, Enter to Win a kayak. So we'll be promoting that at the events. We'll have a big QR code for the community to scan. You can fill out a contact or a Enter to Win form on our website. Um, I'll be able to share this page with you all really soon. Jeff and I are working through just some small details on the contest language so that we've covered all of our bases there. But we will announce that winner at the grand opening of the parks. So, and I don't know if we talked about this last month, but we have earmarked the grand opening date for September 26th. Or we have a placeholder on the calendar for that. So obviously we want to make sure that works with everybody.
What day of the week is that?
And that
It is
is
a Saturday. the
yeah,
last
it's a
of
Saturday.
September.
We have
Right.
now picked the time, so that's definitely up for thoughts. And of course, if there's any major conflicts with that date, we can reassess. But we wanted to at least get a placeholder so that we could talk about that. So excited about the contest. I think that'll be a great way to drive people to the website, get them just looped into information about the park opening. And again, we'll have events we'll be at events throughout the summer. So the Gaslight Festival, we'll be at the farmers market a couple times. Alice has shared some events with me that she would like us to join too. So we're open to other suggestions for events. So that's an update on that piece. And as Jason mentioned, we've started the conversations with the sign company about what that could look like for the Eastern Park. So I think what will make sense for our August meeting is we should be able to share some general concepts for just to like at least show the type of signage that we're looking at. From a design standpoint. And then I know Nancy's leading the initiative on the naming committee. So the goal for that is to have our meeting with that committee this month. Hopefully we can do that in an efficient, quick but thoughtful manner so that we can identify the name. And then of course we would be able to plug that into the design. We can use a placeholder throughout the design process for the sign. I see that Larry's back there, so he's on my list to connect with this week to just get some specs and zoning rules for the sign. And I think those are the biggest things for updates for now. Any questions from you guys? We will have a new newsletter going out on Tuesday as well. So with new photos. I know Jason was out there earlier. It looks really pretty. So we want to be able to share new photos and hopefully get some aerial images.
Get on that newsletter.
Well, we'll get you on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? You might have missed the last one. So I'll make sure that you're on this one.
Thank you.
And I'll send you the old one too.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'll forward you that last to you.
All right. Yeah. Any questions?
Not for me.
Do you want me to talk about thriving
I was going to
communities?
say, if you want to mention
Okay.
it, yeah.
Yeah, thriving communities, that continues to move forward. Ben is on that committee. We have a small subcommittee with other organizations throughout the county. So we have just made it through the process where we hosted a stakeholder session for feedback. My team drafted a formal document analyzing all of that feedback. I'm happy to share that with the board too, just so that you guys have that document to read. It was approved by the subcommittee, so that means we can move now on to logo concepts and some messaging for the Fall Creek Greenway concept. Kind of where we are with that.
Great.
Okay.
I'd ask on the thriving communities. I have been on one of these meetings, and it's a program that we sort of committed to and started with, you know, with a lot of other people on the board, with a lot of other people in this room, would you be able to give via email, not in this moment,
Sure.
but send us, as you send that working document
Yeah.
that you guys have established, just a little bit of background and a little bit of understanding of what Thriving Communities is,
Yes.
so that we're all on the same page, because we've had new members join, we've had, you know, there's been a lot, but the long and the short of it is obviously that it's been focused on Southern Madison County.
Yeah.
Is it the Southern Madison County Community Foundation?
They are South Madison.
sorry.
Yeah, they're very involved in the subcommittee.
Yeah.
And so there have been probably a handful of activities that have already happened through the Thriving Communities Program. This is a completely federally funded grant program. So I'm happy to share
Just give
those
us a little
documents.
Of the history context
Yeah.
along with those documents, so we're all on the
Absolutely.
same page with that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie Ann.
Very good.
I think I'm up.
Naming subcommittee.
Yeah, so I've been reaching out to a number of individuals to help us in this process of naming our new park. And I've had confirmations from some individuals. Ben Davis, he's the executive director of the Madison County Community Foundation. He'll be able to provide definitely some feedback on, you know, naming rights and, you know, from a donor perspective, in addition to myself, because I work with the foundation. Mr. and Mrs. Kilburn, Michelle Hockwalt from Community Hospital, Jody Norick from County Council, Olivia Pratt from the County Commissioners, Carrie Ann Rich, and I haven't touched base with yet, but he has confirmed Brad Childs. And I've got to call out to Steve Jackson, our county historian, to kind of help with some of that. And then I believe Carrie Ann said she had someone of interest that reached out through the website. So I'm back to work next week. And then when I get back to work, then I'll start emailing everybody. And then we can kind of come up with an idea to meet. I'm hoping we can meet in one or two times so we can bring an actual name back for the August meeting to actually name the park officially at the August meeting. So then you guys can move forward on signage. So that's the plan right now. I'm hoping we don't get derailed. It's going to be hard to coordinate 8 people's schedules, but we'll figure it out. So we can do some Zoom meetings and whatnot too if people can't be there in person. So that's all I have.
Very good.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we have the right of entry agreement that we've now added to the agenda. So that would be the next thing for us to discuss here. Do we want to take a moment? I don't know that we've all seen the final drafted version of this. So if you want to take just a moment to look it over, I've been watching the edits go back and forth, but
We'll state while you're looking that over that
Mhm.
on a lot of times when a local government works with a state entity, there's a kind of a reputation that the state is, here it is, take it or leave it.
Mhm.
Sometimes that's true, but in this case, it certainly was not true. The Indiana Department of Natural Resources extremely reasonable and clearly wanted this to happen. So there's several things that they might have keeled over with laughter.
Mhm.
In this case, they were. They certainly didn't give us everything we wanted. They stood up for their client well. This is, in my opinion, a very fair agreement and achieves the goals here of the park board to open.
I mean, upon Jeff's recommendation, I would recommend that we accept the MOU agreement as it is written and presented to us.
Yep.
Mhm. Mhm.
I may be wrong. Um, so thank you for that. I don't know who had the brains and the initiative to secure a federal grant, um, but that's outstanding because from the federal grants I've been involved in, they don't tax local taxpayers. So you either get them or somebody else is going to get them. And so thank you. If that was the whole board, if it was just a few people, I appreciate that. That doesn't happen a lot. And then the park design, oh my, it's so exciting. We went out there, what, about a week and a half ago, and it just did my heart good. We live on the river on the east side. We have 27 acres, and we have a path all along the river. In fact, one day I'm walking, and he had built a ramp down to the island so I could get up and down, and others have used that. And what we see is just people having fun. The only person that's ever come on our land, bless her heart, she had to use the restroom and she had a bikini on and she walked through stinging nettles. And I hope she was a little intoxicated because that would have helped. But, so, I see canoes all the time. I'm out on that path almost every day.
Mhm,
The birds, the wildlife that you're
mhm,
protecting. Good job.
mhm.
It's pretty emotional for me because the reason we acquired the land was because of the reservoir. And our property was targeted as the marina. And so I was pretty emotional, as I've seen a lot of people, and I understand how they feel. Um, and I've heard some of the ideas about the maintenance. But really, the only issue we've ever had is out at 8th Street, and it was from the neighbor kids
Mhm.
because they went out there and tore those buildings up. And we found them there. We had our 2 shepherds, probably
Mhm.
scared them to death. There was about 10 of them. Um, so I just want to say thank you. We've been, kind of probably should have come before, but it's kind of hard to talk about it because anytime you're protecting that river, I'm just yes. So and the river watchers, Alan, Cheryl Myers, John Johnson, that originally had the property and what he did with it. I mean, it's just his ideas really on steroids. So that's really all I have to say. So
Oh, thank you.
Thank
welcome.
you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Made it hard to follow up, didn't she?
Yeah.
Uh, I'm just going to read exactly what I emailed you, and I want it to be on record. My name is Alan Kilburn. I live at 5614 West 8th Street Road in Anderson, Indiana, 46011. The reason I asked to address you again is because I went to the fish kill meetings and saw how the money was distributed. Hamilton County built Lafayette Trace Boat Ramp and others and have maintained them. The state of Indiana built and maintains the Perkinsville site using volunteers to pick up the trash. The city of Anderson built River Bend, and the park has become a area to drive 4x4 vehicles in and dump truckloads of trash. I have stated these facts before, but I want to make sure that the board understands that the vandalism has been occurring at the property at Layton and 8th Street Road for over 20 years. The previous owners have had their buildings broken into, their tractor tires cut, and items stolen. Things will not change unless you have a plan in the place for the future years to set money aside for security system and maintenance program. I want to see the new park become a success and not like River Bend and the Anderson. So I would appreciate it if you could establish a plan to have a budget for the parks in the future years. I do want to add one question though. I heard you state that if there's any extra money, could that be used for log jams? Because we're going to have a problem with log jams and they're costly to get rid of. So if there's any extra money, could we address the log jams on the river?
To answer that directly, no. The ARPA funding that we're using for this project has to get all the way wrapped up into this project.
Okay.
Separately, we understand that log jams have been a problem on the river for quite some time. I've had a number of other conversations within the county about who exactly that responsibility falls on and how we can be sure that we're maintaining the river as a clear path as we encourage access to it. So
Okay.
definitely on the radar, as well as budget. I've been working with the auditor's office, working on a budget for us for the next year to, as we move forward as a department. So all of these things are under consideration, Alan. Thank you.
Thank
Could
you.
I ask you a couple questions before you step away?
Yes.
How do you think this photo that you supplied is germane to a canoe ramp or a canoe launch outside the city of Anderson?
Well, the same people that are going to dump at River Bend Park are going to come out and dump along 8th Street. I think Mrs. Hobbs can testify that there's people that drive down the road and throw their trash everywhere. So,
I can attest.
And it would be people living on the east side of Layton Road, not the west side of Layton Road, that are doing the damage and
No,
trash.
no, it's nationwide. I can't tie that one down.
But my curiosity is because you don't have a picture of Perkinsville
Oh, I could
or
go.
trash.
I've taken pictures.
No, I'm saying you didn't use that as a presentation. You used this one, and I understand. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. But what I am concerned about is that it seems that there are people that target Anderson as being the bad people. You don't want Anderson people around. You don't want Anderson people either on a canoe launch or on a trail system. And that's not picking on you perception. That's what Anderson has done to itself. And when you talk about Riverbend, I was the mayor when we used those funds to build that park. My wife is a regular user, near daily, of our trail system, and I know firsthand what you're talking about. It's just, and I've got photos at home too. Our question would be, how do we convince a city government that they have a valuable corridor and to keep it cleaned up? We used a mixture of street department and park department and other departments to come in on various projects we had to keep it clean. We didn't have this problem when we were down there. And if there was some dumping, we sent somebody down there to clean it up. I noticed this kind of anti-Anderson sentiment when we were working on the annexation on the east side of town that had full city water, Anderson electricity, and full city sewer. And there were people living there that made their money in Anderson, and also the one that went down south. One business owner said, I don't want any part of Anderson, Indiana annexing down south. He had received a good deal of investment money from the city of Anderson to start his business downtown, but he didn't want to be part of Anderson. Another guy was a preacher who lived on the east side, outside Easter Range Line Road, and he protested annexation, saying, I moved out of the city to get away from that. So I think really our issue here is a perception about what Anderson is, and quite frankly, I think it falls on the shoulders of city government for not getting out there and cleaning it up and maintaining the investment of those funds that you mentioned, the fish kill funds, because we did take responsibility for that. We killed every living thing in that river from here to Indianapolis. I just think it's a shame that you have to even come up here and put this picture forward, because I know as a resident there's a problem. I just wish other people that have the powers to clean this up do so. And we will never evolve into a community, a river community, or a trail community, or rails to trails community that's respected unless we get our own stuff together. And I apologize. I wish I could go call the street department or the park department and do something about it, but can't.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah. I just apologize. It breaks my heart.
Yeah. Well, I just don't want that situation to evolve out at new parks.
I agree.
Neither do we.
What I think what would help is that really the county has really surprised me about moving towards a much more organized, professional, long-term county government. They have some long vision here. And I would just suspect that the county sheriff's department would respond very differently than if you were in Anderson, called the Anderson Police Department. You can try to call the Anderson Police Department, report this. That's one way. You can call the mayor's office or the park department to try to report it. According to social media, that's not very successful. And people have made complaints about the vandalism in the parks and the dumping. Again, I apologize, can't do anything about it. But there were people that wanted this current policymaker group in where they're at now. One of them, okay. Anyway, I'll just
It's all right. We'll
stop there,
Yeah.
but thank you.
We're looking forward to future maintenance.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll tell you a story, real funny story. There was a, real quick, if I might.
As long as it's quick.
Sam Hanna was a legend on the sheriff's department, and he reportedly saw a guy throw a bag of trash out, happened to be out West 8th Street Road while he was coming into town. And he stopped and picked up that bag of trash and went through it and got the name and address on the letterhead, the mail that was in that trash bag. Ended up going to this guy's house and writing him a citation for littering. So I would hope that that same thing can happen in Anderson.
I'm done.
Take a motion. Do we need a motion?
Thank
for
you,
something, or a second?
No.
No, I
Okay.
mean, adjournment is the only other thing on our agenda, unless anybody else has anything they have a burning desire to speak of. But I think we've made good progress.
Yeah. Thank you.
Entertain a-
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 12:45.
I second.
All right, all
Thank
those
you.
in favor of
Thank you.
adjournment?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Oh, so the budget, when is
Yes.
the budget due? Or has it been some?
I have had that dialogue. We could, maybe we, I don't know, what turns into an executive session. Can we, the four of us, speak for 2 minutes, or is that not? About the budget, or the idea, the process, not the numbers. I just want to tell everybody the single dialogue I've had with Todd Paul. Yeah, very, that's all. Yeah, very good. Yes, we've adjourned. We will. We can step out there because it's the library. Here's a signed copy for you, Jeff. Thank you. Here, I can sketch it. That would be the first everything I actually did have a chance to